Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we are going to be taking a look at the 3D MAXpider Kagu floor mat kit. This is going to have a front drivers and passengers side mat as well as your second row mat, and we're going to see how this all fits and installs right here in our 2024 Ford F-150. If you're looking to upgrade from your factory mats, or maybe you want something that looks a little bit more sleek and stylish, that's where the Kagu mats come in handy and are really popular with a lot of truck owners. But first question is, which type of F-150 do you have? Do you have under-seat storage? Do you not? The main reason I ask that is because the second row mat, Kagu has different options for if you have storage or not, because 3D MAXpider, if you're not familiar with their type of floor mats, they're very custom fit. They really focus on their 3D designs to make sure everything perfectly fits around the contours of your truck, which is why they're probably one of the most stylish floor mats. But beyond style, they also pay a lot of attention to the materials they use to make sure it's durable and really works for your lifestyle. You'll see that especially with how the 3 layers are put together. So for your top layer, you're going to have this thermoplastic rubber, and what makes it unique is going to be the texture of that top layer. So you have grip there, which will take the debris off of your shoes, but then it's also smooth enough where your shoes are not stuck to the mat. In the center of the mat, you have your insulation layer, and this is going to be shockproof, soundproof. This will distribute the impact of your shoes or whatever you have loaded in your cab, and will also prevent any leaks or spills from going through the mat to your vehicle. And then at the bottom, that's where we're extra unique. So a lot of floor mats use hard nibs that bite into your upholstery, which are fine. But what MAXpider has is these, what they call MAXpider fibers. And these are going to be soft fibers that catch onto your upholstery and do a remarkably good job of keeping your mat in place. And that prevents sliding around, keeping to that custom fit for your truck. We actually have the great opportunity of being able to compare the rubber factory mats with the Kagu mats. So the owner of this vehicle, this is her mat. She's had it for about a year, and it's held up pretty well in that year, although it does look a fair bit dirty. Now it is also pretty heavy, but as a factory mat, it has some support there, and it is specifically designed for the truck. The Kagu mat, on the other hand, is much lighter, also designed for the truck, and you can see they share these same safety tabs to secure into your driver's seat. Now, if we put them on top of each other, though, you can see where the factory mat actually has slightly less coverage compared to our Kagu mat. So the factory mat has higher walls, but less overall coverage. So a rubber mat like this is helpful if you have a lot of spills and puddles and you want to lift everything out in one piece. That's something you can do as well with the Kagu mat, but it is going to be a lot more sleek and low profile, which I actually prefer, especially once installed. Here we are in our truck, and we're going to start with installing the mat in the driver's side. Now, I always recommend, if possible, try to vacuum out your truck before you put brand new floor mats on top. So, lining up the floor mat, what I do is I get underneath the pedals first, make sure that's lined up, and then I kind of look underneath the mat to make sure it's lined up with the tabs here on our driver's side. That's a pretty important feature, but does snap right into place. 1 and 2, and we're pretty much perfectly contoured around everything right now. It's going to be the same process for the passenger side. The owner of the vehicle actually left their carpet mat in here underneath their rubber mat just because they felt they needed a little bit more coverage and cushion. So we're going to take that one out and replace it with our Kagu mat. So pushing this up against everything, you are going to be mindful to push it as far forward as you can get it, although you may come in contact with some things in the glove box. So here we have it pretty close. Not as flush as I usually like, but still looking pretty good. In comparison, the Kagu floor mat is much lighter, so it is easier to lift, but it does have a unique problem, and that is that the fibers tend to catch almost immediately to the fibers of the F-150. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it mostly into place, and then we're just going to drop down and tuck underneath the seats. Now, this will tend to get caught on the upholstery. So you really are gonna have to focus on really pushing everything into its proper spot. So some things you could do to make sure you really get the best fit is if you notice there's a bubble in the center, just go ahead and pull on the mat, kind of stretch it out, at least stretch out something that's not stretchy as you can. And then also over here by the seats, you are gonna have to kind of push down on those edges just to get them under the lip of that storage area. Once you've done all of that, then you should have very much of a custom fit. Special attention does need to be given to the sides of the mat, especially since I know F-150 owners or truck owners in general love mats that go over that threshold of the door. Now, this mat does sit up and over, but you do have a little bit of a gap underneath. So unless you're real conscious about pushing that mat against your upholstery to make sure it catches, you may find your own feet catching against that lip every now and then. So not my favorite fit overall, but once you have everything in place, like seats down and your mat pushed in, you should get a better experience compared to your first impression. And going over to the passenger side, when I mentioned it wasn't quite the best fit I've seen, that's just because there's a bit of a gap here underneath the mat, between the mat and the floor. But that might just be a vehicle thing, because while there might be spots for crumbs to fall in through the edges, everything else on the mat looks amazing. I love how it contours, I love the height of the walls, and I just love the overall sleek look in the truck. Now, I've been working with MAXpider Kagu floor mats for a while, and in a bunch of different types of vehicles. I've really enjoyed how they fit into these smaller SUVs, and I really wanted to like how they looked here in our truck, but I just haven't been the biggest fan. Now, I do have to understand that F-150s are kind of notorious for not always being consistent. I mean, they come in a bunch of different trims and different designs, so not everything is gonna fit the exact same way every single time. But as much as I love the front driver's and passenger side floor mats, those look great, super sleek. It was the second row that I wasn't the biggest fan of. Now, my opinion could have changed with the shorter version that's designed to go for when you have that storage area underneath your seats. Since it is shorter, takes up less space, it's not as common to get caught up in the upholstery of your vehicle, creating strange bubbles. So that's probably what got me the most. Since Kagu mats are designed to work around the contours of your vehicle, since your F-150 doesn't have that many contours there in the second row, it's not as impressive. So that's the thing. It really depends on what type of look you're going for, what type of adventure you're going for. If you need the ruggedness and utility of thicker rubber floor mats, then you can go ahead with those factory ones that we just saw in this truck. But if you're looking for something that's more stylish, more sleek, but you know is still going to protect your vehicle, then your Kagu floor mats might be the option for you. And you saw how they looked right here in this truck, so hopefully that will help you with your decision-making process of finding the best fit for you. But today, this was a look at our 3D MAXpider Kagu floor mats. We saw the whole set for the front driver's and passenger side, as well as the second row side of our 2024 F-150.